Good evening everyone, and welcome back to the show. Today we're going to take a look at Obsidian Entertainment's latest game, Alpha Protocol. For the uninitiated, Obsidian Entertainment are a company forged from the ashes of Black Isle and Interplay, a development and publishing duo best known for their near-legendary RPGs, Baldur's Gate and the original Fallout games. Sadly, for reasons shrouded in back-alley deals and corporate backstabbing, appropriate given the game at hand, both went bust. Staff from these companies got together and formed Obsidian Entertainment to continue their great line of RPGs. In theory. In practice, they made Knights of the Old Republic 2, which was broken on release, and still is, Neverwinter Nights 2, which was broken on release, and eventually fixed, as well as the various expansions for Neverwinter Nights 2, which I never played because I was tired of buying broken crap. I'm giving you this info because I want you to understand where I'm coming from with this review. Alpha Protocol is a game I've been looking forward to for a long time. I have a real soft spot for spy movies, and so a good spy video game seems like something of a holy grail for me. But with Obsidian's unerring ability to treat first-day buyers as beta testers, I was worried. Was I justified? Turns out I was. Let's take a look. You play as Michael Thornton, a secret agent working for the mysterious organisation Alpha Protocol. His background is chosen by yourself. Does this sound familiar at all? Don't worry, it will do soon enough. And his personality is also dictated by your choices in the game. Michael gets embroiled in a conspiracy by a major US company to do bad things to increase its profits. There's a very thin-veiled references to certain conspiracy theories about the Iraq War there, but we won't get into that here. I can't get much more into the plot anyway, for worries of spoilers, but it's solid enough and disturbingly based in apparent fact. The issue with the plot is pacing. The plot crawls, then jumps, then crawls, then leaps forward about 50 feet, leaving you with absolutely no idea what the hell just happened. After about 2 hours, I just stopped caring altogether. Big negative points on that front. Your supporting cast are all bland. Plot twists are either so predictable you can see them coming a mile off, or so out of left field they're just irritating. Thornton will forge deep, meaningful relationships with people he's known for all of 10 minutes, meaning he acts like they're the centre of the whole friggin' universe, whereas you couldn't care less, and in my adventure I slept with no fewer than 3 women, all of whom were eager to jump on Mike's meat whistle, because he's a secret agent! Overall, the story is meh. It's there, but there's nothing really interesting, and it doesn't live up to hopes. The characters are likewise just there because they have to be for the sake of having a video game. There's no real depth or personality, even when you read their dossiers, which you collect as you go through the game. Considering Obsidian's previous games, both as Obsidian and as Interplay / Black Isle, this is a real letdown. You have a third-person, cover-based tactical shooter with RPG elements. Still not sounding familiar? Okay, let me carry on. You level up by gaining XP from killing enemies, completing objectives, and breaking into stuff. In combat, you have powers which you can use to make your weapons behave differently or have various effects on the enemy. Still don't know what I'm getting at? Okay, if you haven't guessed it from the video and from this description yet, I'll just spell it out for you. Alpha Protocol is Mass Effect 2 with bits bolted on. Everything about this game is just like Mass Effect 2. The leveling system, the powers, the basic core gameplay, everything is ripped from Mass Effect 2. There are some new features like the gadgets, most of which are just specialised grenades. There are some new little mini-games for hacking into systems, picking locks and bypassing keypads, but really the bulk of the game is best described as... This is going to be a bit graphic. It's like if Metal Gear Solid shat out Mass Effect after eating Splinter Cell Conviction. Now, to be fair, despite the fact that the overall quality of Alpha Protocol is nowhere near as good as any of those 3 games, they did bring some new ideas in. For example, the perk system whereby you gain bonuses for completing certain criteria. Basically, for example, you stealth kill a certain number of guards, you get a bonus to noise reduction. This means that you gain bonuses to playing the game how you want to play it, simply by playing the game how you want to play it, which is a nice touch in addition to the levelling system. But the one area where Obsidian have brought something which is genuinely new and interesting is in the dialogue sequences. These were vaunted a lot during the advertising of the game, and when a game is trying to advertise it based on talking, you can get a bit suspicious. But honestly, the way that dialogue and choices are handled is very interesting. Put simply, there are no longer any right and wrong answers, just consequences. While certain options may seem favourable at the time, they can come back to bite you in the arse later. Likewise, sometimes when you think you've screwed up, you'll find you actually did a good thing. In conversations, you have three basic stances: suave, aggressive, or professional. Different people respond to these in different ways. Some people will respond to professionalism, some like flirtation, and others appreciate you talking tough. These preferences can also change depending on the situation. For example, trying to flirt with somebody in the middle of a gunfight is generally not a good move. Gaining a good rep with people can mean they help you out later in the game, but sparing too many lives and being a good Samaritan can mean people start to play you for a sap or regard you as weak, as that's the way that your reputation is perceived. This does mean you don't spend ages agonising over the right choice, you simply do what you want to do, which is good because these sequences are also timed. Some missions are nothing but these dialogue sequences, and they're just as tense and just as entertaining as the combat missions. The big problem though are the bugs. True to form for Obsidian, Alpha Protocol's quality as a program is utterly abysmal. Things can shoot through cover. There are various other clipping errors, the camera can go weird, APCs are more easily dispatched by assault rifles rather than by explosives, there are forced combat sequences that will screw you over royally if you're playing a non-combat centric class, the AI is retarded, and the controls are either hyperactive or doped up on Valium. In short, there's lots of potential here, even if it is a rip-off. But the awful quality of Alpha Protocol as a program just makes the game exceptionally frustrating and in some parts nigh on unplayable. Related to my previous sentiments, the graphics are not bad, but there are some serious oversights. I mean, look at Michael sneaking. He looks like a friggin' cartoon character. Plus his outfit seems to clip in some cutscenes, and by some, I mean a few more than you can let Obsidian get away with. Beyond that, the graphics are not too bad. They're about on par with Half-Life 2, maybe a little worse. And Half-Life 2 was released in... yeah, you know what, the graphics are pretty poor. The quality is shabby, and Alpha Protocol, in retrospect, looks more like something you'd see during the very earliest days of the Xbox 360. Very disappointing. Credible voice actors, but not excellent. A good score, but the high-octane combat music continues to play for a while after you've started sneaking again. That can get very, very annoying. This is no doubt yet another design bug. But overall, Alpha Protocol sounds a run-of-the-mill. It doesn't try to do anything new, and some sloppy coding as well as crappy lip-syncing can make some bits almost painful. Not a point in the game's favour, but not a huge negative mark. There's a brilliant game in here, but it's buried under layers upon layers of crappy quality coding and general god-awful design. Alpha Protocol's worth a look if you enjoy a good action or sneaking game, but for the love of all that's sacred, don't pay full price for it, and wait for Obsidian to fix the bugs which are reported by stupid gits like me who bought the game on release date. Some of us never learn our lessons. In the meantime, Splinter Cell Conviction is a much better spy game. It's good, all-round fun, and while it may not have the RPG elements that Alpha Protocol has, I'd recommend it over this game any day. So to summarise, Alpha Protocol, worth a look, but leave it for a month or two to come down in price. And for the goddamn bugs to be fixed.